check, make sure this works. Okay. Cool. Hello, Oslo. Good to see everyone. Hey. So I don't know if when you thought that you're going to come to a futurist conference, you may have thought, I wonder if there will be a guy in a spacesuit speaking at some point. But it's finally happened, and I'm that guy. So this is kind of the thesis of what I'm going to speak about. I'm actually going to speak about peace, violence, and war that's happening on the planet, and why I believe in a peaceful future, and why I believe that we're moving that direction. So we'll get into this in just a bit. How many people in here like shots? Love them, right? All right. Well, what I'd like this talk to be, hopefully, because there's a lot of very depressing things somewhat happening in the way you perceive the planet in reality right now. Obviously, biodiversity loss is quite sad. It's egregious. We might be losing 50 to 100 species right now every day. It's partly why I got into what I'm doing right now. Also, I mean, there's wars. I mean, Syria civil war, we lost about 50, almost anywhere from 49,000 to 60,000 people last year. So what I'd like this talk to be is some positivity, and hopefully for you guys, an injection of hope. So we're going to go through some people that inspire me and hopefully inspire you as well. Who's this? Gandhi, right? We know Gandhi. Then we go through some people you won't know in a bit. Who's this? Martin Luther King. That one's easy, right? I really want to know some of these people, some of these later ones in a bit. Who's this? Mandela. Nelson Mandela said it always seems impossible until it's done. Who's this? You guys know her. Salata, Yousafzai. Okay, so I believe we can have global peace on our planet, relative global peace, by the year 2033. If you think that's a bold statement, raise your hand. Cool. My job here is I'm going to try and prove you wrong through data, okay? I'm going to show you why. I want to start with this quote. If you want to build a ship, don't drum up people to collect wood, don't assign them tasks and work, but rather teach them to long for the endless immensity of the sea. I think if we want people to fight climate change, we have to give them hope, and we have to give them a vision that actually makes sense, that they believe we can actually win this. We can actually create a planet that, as some people say, is not just sustainable, but maybe it's post-scarcity, an abundant planet. That's what we're all looking for, right? It's why we're here. It's why you're a futurist. You want to build this architecture of this future society. So who knows who this is? Okay, this is Jeanette Rankin. She's one of my favorite people, women. This is everyone. This is someone to look up to. I can tell you about her later on. I'm not going to get all the way into it. Who knows who this is? You do? Who? Yes. Why I'm so excited to be in Oslo right now. You guys may not know. This is Johan Galtung. And Johan is one of the top peace philosophers in the world, and he lives here in Oslo. He's the founder of the Peace Research Institute. This is one of the top peace research institutes in the world. It probably is the top. It was started in the 60s by this guy. He is so important. And we're going to do one more. First, Johan said the American empire will fall by the year 2020 from Oslo. We're going to chat about that in just a bit, okay? Who knows who this is? Anyone?
Steven Pinker.
Yes, Steven Pinker. He's one of my favorite thought leaders. Steven Pinker wrote a book called The Better Angels of Our Nature. Put all three covers here in case you want to get it. Better Angels of Our Nature was a longitudinal study over millenniums about human violence by ratio. What he found out after studying violence by ratio on everything from archaeological sites, everything else, is that we're actually killing each other less every generation. That's good. It's exciting, right? There's some hope a little bit, okay? Every generation by ratio, the human species is killing each other less. Seems depressing now, but how many millions of deaths were there in World War II? Just think about that. So right now, I know we've got climate change, we have all these different things happening, and people feel like we're on the brink of maybe a World War III or nuclear war. But right now, we're actually killing each other less by ratio, which very excites me. And this idea is what spurred a lot of what I've been working on. So roughly, this isn't so happy, is it? Roughly 50 million people die every year. That's just the state of nature, right? Over 50% of these are due to 10 causes. So according to the WHO, World Health Organization, we have heart disease and stroke. That's around 15 million, that's what they say. It's a little bit more than 7 million combined. I just put the graph of the top 10 here from WHO. So you have heart disease, stroke, lower respiratory, chronic obstruction, trachea, you have lung disease, lung cancer, all. Actually, diabetes is on here. AIDS is no longer on the top 10. I'm going to explain why this is important. So I made this graph just about an hour ago, because I was like, this will make it easier for you guys. So this is the not top 10, this purple. This is the bottom 5 of the top 10. I just put them all in one slot. Those are the top 5 killers. You see that tiny, 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 tiny green slice? That's as small as they could possibly make it. Okay? It's as small as they could possibly make it. What is that? 56.4 million people die every year. 140 of those last year. It's from political conflict. 140,000 doing percentage divided by 56,400,000. It's 0.2%. So when you guys think that global peace by 2033 is a very bold statement, right now we're only losing 0.2% on our planet. So I'm here to tell you is we're so close already. We are so close. 140,000 in the grand scheme is not that many. So 15, 16, 17 years, can we close those gaps? I truly believe we can. How and why is this important? Obviously it's important, but we can get into how it affects climate change as well. So 0.24% is the human population that dies because of political conflict right now. Okay, so right now there's 4 major conflicts in the world. Okay, so here's where the majority of these numbers even come from. So last year, Syria had around 49,678 to 60,000 deaths. Iraq had 23,000, Afghanistan had 23,000, and the Mexican drug war had 12,000. So the majority of those 140,000. If we can solve these over the next 15 years and not get into more, wow. Does that give you hope? What a beautiful planet we can move into, or what a beautiful future we can move into. Okay. So, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, and why I'm at where I'm at, and why I'm not here, and why I'm not in Syria, and why I'm in New York City, and why I think it's important for me to be in New York City right now to do this. This is a Gallup poll. They actually did it in 2013, I believe. Chomsky talks about this. I'm a big Noam Chomsky fan. Which country is the greatest threat to peace? What does most of the world think? The United States. The United States, the majority of the world, unanimously almost, other than us in Canada just about, and a few others, majority of the world thinks the United States is the largest obstruction to peace. We don't think of ourselves like that often. We think that we're saving the world. But I'm going to get into this a little bit. Okay, so what's the U.S. defense budget in 2015? $597 billion. This is in 2015. This is before Trump increased this budget. Okay, remember there's 140,000 deaths worldwide. More than the next 14 countries combined. That's insane. That's insane. That's just insanity. Like, next closest is China at 145 billion. So this is why we created the organization. I call it an open source peace activist community in New York City, and it's called the Peace Accelerators. Who knows what this symbol is? Yes. In 2015, they made this symbol in Sweden. We use it as our symbol for our community. It's called the Earth flag. I wear it quite a bit. The concept is if we go to Mars, we don't want a flag of Russia or a flag of the United States or a flag of China. Because just like Larry Brilliant said this morning, which was brilliant, we're all in this together, right? So we use this to say we're here for Earth. No matter where people are dying because of war, it affects us. They're our brothers and sisters, no matter what. It's the same. They just weren't as lucky as some of us were in the genetic lottery being born in a certain place. We all know it's true. So let's try to make peace easy and fun. It always seems impossible until it's done. So we came up with this plan. This is called our Clear Vision by 2020 plan. Maybe it can go along with Johan Galtung's ideas. These are about our 3 long-term operations. So, Clear Vision Plan by 2020, our 3 long-term operations. Operation number 1 is called Farms Not Arms. Farms Not Arms. So that is a picture of Square Roots, which is a shipping container vertical farming company in Brooklyn that we've done some events with Peace Accelerators. This is me in front of a 2-acre farm in the winter. Yep. So check this out. Let's go back to this U.S. military budget. Let's get into some numbers. $597 billion, 2-acre shipping container farm costs around $100,000. It can be a lot cheaper as well. I'm trying to overestimate to make sure that you can believe these numbers, okay? $100,000, and that, I'm including some sustainable energy with that. So here's what's interesting, and this is why I love crunching numbers. Syria, as an entire country, is only 42 million acres wide. Only 28% of that land is considered arable, and only 4% of it grows permanent crops. Here's where things get crazy. 4% of 42 million is 1.68 million, meaning that right now Syria is only growing permanent crops in 1.68 million acres of farmland. For 12% of America's annual defense budget, we could send them shipping containers that could double their permanent crop production. We could double the amount of food Syria grows if we decided to not get involved, to not send drones, to not send bombs, and to say, here, how about we just send you tons and tons of farms, the state-of-the-art technology that we've helped develop with other countries, and you guys can grow it yourself. If you get into why Syria happened, the civil war happened, a lot of it was because of famine and drought. This is the way we can help them. These shipping container farms use 80% less water than normal farms, use 80% less water than outdoor farms. Obviously, we realize the Middle East does not have a ton of water. Okay, operation number 2, evolve. The United States has a couple mentalities we need to evolve in. One is called capital punishment. We are the only Western nation, developed nation, basically, that still has it. It's still legal in 31 states. I think it's 9 states. The electric chair is still legal. Sometimes lethal injection doesn't even work. People are suffering for hours, with acid running through their veins. Some of them are prosecuted and they're actually innocent. They've been on death row for 20 years. We just have to get through this. Why? To me, this is a stair-step process of evolving an American mindset. So we're working on this. We're actually going to create animations to show the data behind this and how far we are behind as a country and why we need to solve this by 2020 to end capital punishment federally in the United States. And my favorite, this is my favorite of our 3 long-term operations, is Operation Revel. What does revel mean? Revel means to party. Revel means to dance, to celebrate. So, on September 21st, does anyone know what that date is other than people that know me? Why it's important? In 1983, there was a day created called the International Day of Peace. How many people celebrated it last year? People that were at my event. Well, probably not, actually. That was after. So anyway, so this year, what we're starting and what I believe we can actually create is hope. And what I mean is in Central Park, we're throwing an event called We Are One Species. And what it's about is celebrating peace and also having the conversations of how do we create peace in the places it doesn't exist. Why is this important? Well, this year, our goal is 1,000 people. This was the beta test last year. We actually had around 200 people come through. This was in Washington Square Park. It's because I got so frustrated. There was no celebration in all of New York City for the International Day of Peace. This is one of the only days our entire planet can celebrate together. We can't celebrate New Year's. Christmas is a religious holiday. In the United States, we mostly celebrate July 4th, Christmas, and the Super Bowl. Why are we not celebrating peace? Why are we not promoting peace and how far we've come as a species? It's time. So that's what we're doing. So Operation Rebel, just to go back, the idea is this year in Central Park, our goal is 1,000 people. Next year, our goal, just like a startup, our goal is to grow this by 10x each year. So next year, our goal is 10,000 people, which is on a Friday. This is where it gets fun. 2 years from now, in 2019, it's a Saturday. And our goal is in Central Park to have 100,000 people celebrating peace in general, as we're growing this in other cities. So one thing I'm asking you guys, if you're enjoying this, if you have a park in your town, get a permit and celebrate the International Day of Peace on September 21st. We call it Take Off for Peace this year. It's our hashtag movement. Take off work for peace on September 21st this year. Take off for peace. We like space. That's why I wear spacesuits. Okay, we must use time creatively in the knowledge that the time is always right to do right. Martin Luther King. I'm going to show you some of the stuff we've been doing so far. So after I did that peace event, it was after the election and things were kind of crazy in the United States and people were like freaking out, not really knowing what to do, and there's not my president marches and all these different things. So I got a couple of friends together and we decided, why don't we just prepare, it was Thanksgiving, and we said, why don't we prepare some meals for people in need? One thing about New York is there are homeless everywhere. If you've been, you know, they're just everywhere. All over the subways, you see them all the time. It's tough, it's a challenge to deal with. As far as how can we really help this problem? So we decided to cook a bunch of meals. We prepared about 75 meals, 9 of us, and we distributed them through the city, just telling people they're loved. We decided to do it again the next month around Christmas, and all of a sudden 25 people came out. Then we did it again in January. We had 65 people. We did it again in Square Roots, and we had about 130 people. We also did it, this was at WeWork's Galactic headquarters. We had around 200 people come through that day. So we were interviewed by CNN, we were interviewed by Futurism about this, but I want to share what I believe and why this affects climate change. I think more than anything what we need towards climate change is a lot of the solutions exist. But right now we have a lot of people not willing to act because they don't believe that we have any hope. And they feel like they can't actually affect the problem, but I promise that you can. I promise you're much more powerful than you realize, and you can do so much more with your life than you possibly realize. And so I believe when Martin Luther King, he said he had a dream. My dream, let's say it's 2033, let's say it's 2025, let's say it's 2020, let's say it's 2050. I don't care. I just envision one day, maybe we're watching the news, maybe it's on our phone, who knows how we're watching the news in the future. Either way, we have a newscaster and they're saying, this is going to sound a little bit strange, but there's actually no wars happening on our planet. This is what I would hope would happen. I would hope it'd be the largest celebration in the history of the planet. I would hope that people everywhere would realize that we've graduated, that maybe we've evolved, that maybe we've come so far as a species. So many things have improved in the last 100 years. I know there's a lot of problems, but we can do this, I promise. I believe in it so much. So to me, peace also feels like this. It doesn't just feel like this. But this is important too, meditation. I meditate every day. But I want to get into a little last couple things. So I believe in branding and communication and nonverbal communication in ways that we're nonverbally communicating on the internet, which is one of the main ways we're communicating these days. So we branded ourselves as Peace Accelerators as space astronauts. And the reason is because I believe we're going to be interplanetary over these next 20 years. Maybe we're going to go to Mars at some point, and I think that we're moving into the future. So we're rebranding peace as futurism, as something exciting that's coming, it's happening. So this, to me, is the new peace symbol. And the reason it's not just the peace symbol, it's a symbol of unity, it's a symbol we're all coming together, it's a symbol of connection to our planet, for all of us, for all species. So this is a symbol you guys probably remember. Nothing against this. There's nothing against this, but when it was created in 1958, think of when the other counterculture movement began, right? In America, in the 60s and the 70s. Maybe this peace symbol influenced it quite a bit. Maybe symbols are really important to what we're doing. So to me, it's a little bit outdated. This is a little bit, in my opinion, outdated, right? That's what did happen. We need a new vision. This is a new vision to me. This is my friend Katya. She designed this spacesuit. She's also an amazing singer. And to me, let's make peace cool again. What's cooler than peace? What's cooler than peace? So I give these out to different people. I give them out at my events. This is why we're doing what we're doing. This doesn't have to happen. You know that wherever this is, it doesn't matter the distance from where you're at. If it's right beside you, if this happened right here, we'd all be freaking out. But because it happens a little bit across an invisible border that we created, we sometimes don't worry about it. We act like we can't do anything, but you can. I know we all can. This is the vaquita. Vaquita just recently possibly went extinct. It's a beautiful porpoise. This is why I do what we're doing. I think that as we start developing hope, we start believing we can change things. And I think it's one of the most important things to develop. I believe we can save a lot of the species and biodiversity on this planet, but I think that peace is one of the fastest solutions to starting to believe in it again and knowing what we can do with peace. So that's it.